let's get into it. What do you think about the Jay allegations that came out?
Well, I can say this. I've been looking at the news, and a couple weeks ago I saw that, that attorney had got sued for extortion. And I saw the lawyers that were on the case, and I saw that Alex Shapiro, but I didn't think too much of it. I know that in my personal experience, that I've gotten that demand letter on like a Christmas Eve, a week after me and Rocky just lost a baby. We were in Hawaii. All of a sudden I get an email saying from the lawyer, Chris Brown, this is not allegedly, this really happened. But I got that letter and I forgot how many millions it was, and it was a ridiculous allegation. And I was still grieving the loss of an unborn child. I felt like they were trying to extort me. But at the end of the day, what my lawyer told me was, listen, you'll go through the trial, it's not true, it's ridiculous, and it won't stand up. And then after that, you'll be able to sue for any loss of business that you had, and that it could potentially be a frivolous lawsuit. For me, full transparency is important. Because of the way I approached it, I think my children already knew what the drill was, like in the rest of the world. Because I get these questions, like, because people have been texting me, calling me all day, all night. And they're like, well, this affects his reputation and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, if he goes through the trial, because when they say like a money grab, it's not a money grab to me. It's more like, if somebody comes to me and says, yo, I'm accusing you of raping a 13-year-old and you want to settle, it's like, that's unsettlable. If it didn't happen, I'm not settling that, because it's like saying you admitted to doing something. That's an offer that you just can't settle. And then you have to actually prove it. So what happens is, and this is from my personal experience, first they try to dismiss it, but that never happens. It's just, to me, a procedure so lawyers get paid. And then you have to have discovery, and then there's the deposition. So there's where it could be problematic, because either way, if this case goes forward, there will be a deposition. And that's where you can ask that person anything about anything, and that's where a lot of other things can happen. And you can't lie, because that's the purpose of a deposition, is if you say something that's not true and then they prove it, now your word is discredited. You impeach yourself. So for me personally, I've gone through that where I've been accused and then go through a whole trial. And in the trial, it just doesn't stand up. It falls apart. If you're lying, it just comes out. At least that's what my experience has been. And then I remember back to, me being accused of something again. It was on the cover of the New York Post, and me talking to my son. And it was the first time he was like, yo, you ain't got to take me to school today. Like, I remember that conversation. And me saying, yeah, I don't want to bring that attention. So being in the public eye means you have the exposure, because unfortunately, anyone can accuse you of something and you have to go to court. But it does have to stand up. And if you lose $1 because of that false accusation and it becomes frivolous, then you have a potential lawsuit against the person that brought one to you. It was just a patience thing. And it was funny because Honor Up just came out the night before, and I'm hearing words like honor in the statement. But again, for me, I have nothing to do with it, and I'm trying to look at it objectively like everyone else is. They're doing the same thing that happened with Puff as far as the way the algorithm is. To me, it's worse. And they're scrutinizing every single thing from the last 20, 30 years. Every lyric, I've been sensed up. They take the statement and put it in AI. I'm seeing Forbes flip. It's just, people could love you one day, but they just love to really hate you so much more. And then I'm like, yo, how does TikTok and all these people that, they say sound crazy, like Cat Williams is looking like, because not to say things are true, but he said things would be exposed. So he's really looking like a fortune teller. And like Jaguar and all that, regardless, it's like, why are the people that are looked at to be imbalanced saying these things, and then they're actually happening? TikTok has been literally saying that this was going to happen, and then it happened. As far as exposure and people being accused of allegations, it's all been 100. They always said Homeboy was next. A week ago, I did an interview, and and they asked me about what do you think about them saying Jay's next? And I'm like, I don't really care. It's just crazy how one day everything, this is like the epitome of it was all good just a week ago. You know, because the difference between him and me, or let's say even him and Kanye, is that he's really tied into corporate. So if corporate shuts his life, like he really has the ability to be canceled. I don't think it would be as easy for him to go independent and sell product on his own, like Kanye's had to go do. The way they're breaking it down on TikTok and on social media and how they're talking about it in pop culture, I've never had to sustain that. My kids never had to go through that. So whether it's true or not, again, in this moment, I'd rather be me. And I hope everything works out for everybody. I hope nobody got hurt. And I hope, you know, because again, I always feel sorry for the kids. So for me, like unbothered to me means worried. Because I know if I was wearing that and I had to go through all of this, I would be outside like, yo, bro, this shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I know I wouldn't even go out. But I wouldn't be like, I'm gonna go out and act like nothing's happening because everyone knows something is. So it was amazing to me that Puff, to the day he went to jail, was in the park acting unbothered. And there's no way that you're not bothered in that scenario, knowing this might be your last day ever in the park. I think the most transparent thing to do, if I'm objective, is I think people want to hear what Homeboy got to say direct, you know? And at this point, if they put him in a deposition, he's gonna have to speak to people he don't want to talk to.
All right, what's up, fam? We gotta dive deep into this one because it's getting wild out here. So let's talk about these shocking allegations against Jay. Yeah, those allegations, the kind that makes you want to put down your phone and be like, did that really just happen? You might think this whole thing is just a money grab, but hold on, it's more complicated than that, trust me. In today's video, we're breaking down the latest on this case, and oh boy, the drama is just heating up. Let's get into it. Okay, first off, Dame Dash here hits us with the big question. How does this affect Jay's reputation? It's legit the question everyone is texting him about, but here's the thing. When you're accused of something as serious as this, it's not about the money grab. He's right here. If someone accused me of something that monstrous, there's no way I'm settling. Like, no chance. If you didn't do it, you've got to take that to trial. Settling just feels like you're admitting to something you didn't do. That's one of the first things that hits me hard. Reputation? Yeah, it's on the line, but your integrity is on the line too. Now let's talk about this legal stuff. Yikes. The whole process from dismissals to discovery to the big moment, depositions. It's like the court equivalent of a truth serum. You get grilled on everything, and if you slip up, your whole story gets blown wide open. And he makes a really good point here. If this case goes forward, Jay could be facing some serious questions. And in the deposition, they can ask him literally anything. It's a chance to catch someone in a lie, and if Jay can't back up his side, that could seriously damage his credibility. It's high stakes. Then the Dame shares a bit of personal experience. Being accused of something and going through the whole trial, it's rough. He's saying if the case is weak and falls apart, that's a major hit on the accuser and they could end up facing their own lawsuit. It's definitely a tough battle, but it makes you think. False accusations can be just as damaging to the accused as they are to the accuser, right? Like it's an emotional and financial toll either way. Things got a little personal. The whole MTV party moment is brought up. Honestly, I'm with him. If I didn't remember something like that, I'd be struggling to make sense of it too. He doesn't want to be drawn into any drama or accusations, and rightfully so. It's like there's no concrete memory, and it's hard to stand by something you don't even remember happening. He's trying to give the benefit of the doubt, but this whole situation just sounds like a blur of confusion. Oh, and then the big reveal, the long statement from Jay. This is huge because we all know how private Jay is, especially when it comes to legal matters. Him speaking out is something rare, and to see him address things this way, it's telling. You know it must be eating at him if he's finally breaking his silence. And when you add in the context of the honor up references in his statement, it's like the world is watching every little detail. Could it be a coincidence, or is there a deeper meaning behind his words? Okay, pause. We gotta talk about TikTok for a second because apparently the platform has been predicting this moment for months. Like, no joke, TikTok seems to be in the know before we even are. The speaker's definitely throwing some shade here. Like, how is TikTok even predicting this stuff? It's crazy how social media can be ahead of the game on these things, but at the same time it kind of makes you wonder how much of this prophecy is just people picking up on real trends and real info. At the end of the day, the best move is to hear directly from Jay. Like, he can't stay quiet forever, right? This isn't just about lawyers anymore. The people want answers and they want to hear it from the horse's mouth. It's about transparency at this point. If Jay doesn't speak up, people are going to keep guessing, and that's not a game anyone wants to play. Alright, there's a lot going on here, and it's clear that this situation is far from over. We got a long way to go before we hear the full truth, but what do you think? Do you think Jay should speak out now? or is the legal process enough? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned.